trend line. Took a while to start loading. Okay, it looks like it's better. Um, Twilio actually took a trade yesterday on this one. It's at a pretty low area, riding that 50-day moving average on the way up, and so I took a pop, took a risk on that popping back up here for a trade. That's the only thing I did yesterday. Pays is still holding up pretty strong. Morning, Eli. Amrin still trying to curl back to the upside. Not successful. Netflix holding up pretty good. This thing's probably going to go a little bit higher next couple of weeks. Intuit also not bad in this area. Kind of a lower. There's looks like a channel's formed here. And we're pretty much toward the low of that channel area on Intuit. So a push back up would be pretty normal. You have a dividend coming up. Usually that means the stock's going to gap down the amount of the dividend. Kind of typically how it works. But Intuit could be a nice move for a pop. Let's take a look at that. Oh, there it is. Eyes are barely working this morning. This could be another one of those. If the market really gets going, this could be another one of those nice lower entry trades. It's not that great. Yeah, 270 makes it a lot better. That seems a little long in the tooth, although it's been jumping up pretty good lately. Lots of green, little red, lots of green, little red, floating down. And we'll see if we're able to get up here. Let's go from the top down the global list real quick. Looks like earnings for Constellation Brands. Our buddy Trex getting over a trend line here this morning. Volume so far, okay. Not really great. Square, a stock we haven't really been looking at here for a while. Looks like it popped up over our trend line, has been consolidating. This one's looking a little better than it has in the past. We had a break in that other downtrend. It failed. And I wonder if there's some kind of a pattern around that. So the Square gets back up here to the 80 level. That's not horrible if you give it a little bit of time. They do have earnings coming up. Looks like the beginning of August or late July, one of the two. 8-1 aftermarket. So could be a potential early place to try to get into some Square. Not a bad day so far today. SIVB trying to come out of a pretty low area here. That's not horrible. Maybe run up to that trend line, 243. But everything is really based on that summit on Monday. I mean, I would almost limit my exposure to that being your primary driver. So if you're nervous about the event, there's plenty of trading days to come. Let's say this thing gaps up. I mean, let's say the news that it comes out of Japan is just tremendous, and this whole thing gaps up here. 8,000 plus whatever. Let's just say for whatever reason that happens, you don't have enough exposure. Keep in mind that it could also gap down. Could also gap down here. It could gap in either way. It could do nothing. So, um, I would tend to be a little more risk averse in situations I don't have a lot of control over and a lot of sway in the outcome. And this being one of those events, I would try to keep my exposure to a minimum. I'm going to keep in my TQQQ position. The market's not showing any major sign of distribution, so that I'm staying on. But in my trading portion of my account, I am a tremendous amount cash. I think I may keep most of that position. Maybe I'll take a trade today, but I'm not. I don't think I'll get too crazy. Oh, Uber. Oh, son of a bee. Uber yesterday continue with an epic run. I should have gone in that thing early when we saw it. We saw it down here, guys. Up 6% since then. Breaking out today with that great volume yesterday. Yeah, there's that great volume yesterday. Huge pocket pivot. How's Lyft doing? Is Lyft popping too? Yeah, Uber definitely the stronger of the two. And you want to be in the leader. You don't want to be in the laggard. You can be in both though. I mean that's fine. But you're going to find out Uber outperforms Lyft. What's up, Nate? Good morning, Jake. Mental exercise when I realize that percent down is always bigger than percent up on the same price move. Uh, Interesting. I think the first move it's even, but the second move you get worse. All right, so pay's coming back this morning a little bit. Oh yeah, fair enough. All right, Twilio chopping back down. Saying this damn trades up taking would cost me. Nvidia, huh? And doing pretty good in that whole little uptrend right there. Lots of nice little pocket pivots in that area. Yeah, it looks really good. INSG maybe trying to bounce off the lows again. It's tried a few times. Hasn't, like I said, bounced from there to there. Failed on that bounce right there, but didn't really undercut the prior low. And may give it another shot. Winnebago coming back again after a higher low this time. Our buddy iRobot still holding that trend line and still attempting to break out. Looks like it may succeed in the short future if this kind of action holds up. MEDP back up to that, was it 65 level? Looks like it's been resistance here. And even the weekly chart going back quite some time. There's this little peak in the middle. There's not really a name for this or anything. No, but it's a very interesting setup. It's kind of like a cloud floating up here. There's a gap up here too, and it does come down and fill the gap, but it just kind of looks like a floating cloud. That's very unique. I will say that's not a chart I've really seen before. Failed breakdown, failed break up, comes right back down to that middle, showing a lot of support. We have a gap down here, and our volume never really increases. On the right side, we're finally starting to get some pocket pivots. We got a few over here before we started breaking down some. And we're above those levels at this stage of the game. So I'm not sure if MEDP is going to have a larger breakout, or it really looks like a nothing pattern, unfortunately. Looks like breaking that trend line was probably, obviously, your best entry down here. And it's already up 16%. So we'll see what happens up here. It's already pretty extended. Probably don't think I would do anything with that. But it could blast off. I mean, that's what they were hoping for here. Didn't get a lot of volume in, though. This is a weekly chart. You got a little bit of a volume expansion. You can kind of see right there. And then a huge gap down for whatever reason. So I don't know. Kind of a strange chart. Yeah, the market got red a little bit ago. Not crazy red, but red. Like I said, everything hinges on China in Japan this weekend. That's pretty much what everything hinges on. So it's going to be an interesting overnight weekend. Stars pulling back. Trek expanding upwards a little bit. Still no major volume coming in. WHD Cactus. We found support down here at that 30 level. And looks like we're... Actually, this is a little bit above 30. And we're trying to curl back up here from this kind of a pretty long downtrend. If you give up that topping candle, you got a pretty tight beat on price action right there. Yeah, I agree, Eli. It doesn't feel good, but at least you understand what it's doing, kind of. All right, so Rob doing KG still. Do I still have it? Yeah, I've got it down here. So price action doesn't show any accumulation on this chart as of yet. I would definitely keep an eye on it, but I wouldn't be super involved in it. I mean, if you want to keep some, that's obviously up. That's fine. That's up to you. But there's really no uptrend going on. We could easily come down and test this trend line. Maybe wait for a trend line break. It could gap up. Could be one of those situations where something really good gaps it up, but that's once again trading based on a what if. So what you'll start to see from time to time, and KG is a really small stock. It's an over-the-counter stock, so institutions cannot get involved in it. When you're dealing with an over-the-counter stock, you're looking for something really good fundamentally to happen, so that you have some people that can take riskier positions like hedge funds, hoping they'll step in and they'll actually do something with it, lift it up. Maybe the company does a reverse stock split. This thing's doing 10 million shares a day with a 14 cent. To be listed on the NASDAQ, you have to be at least $1. So if they did a 10-for-1 stock split, that would be perfectly normal for a stock of this size, because the average volume being 10.7 million, which is my number here in yellow, 10.5 million shares, do 10-for-1 stock split. You're still doing 1 million a day off of a $1.20 stock. So if KG does something like that and then starts, going for listing on the NASDAQ, that's when those numbers start to really matter, I think. But you could hold a portion of this thing, and maybe that happens in a year or 2 years or something, and then you'll get a huge payout from that probably. All right, Twilio coming down. All right, Uber staying at the top of the list here, holding pretty strong towards the highs. More elevated volume than yesterday. Remember, yesterday we had this block buying. We have some more block buying today, but on a little bit more volume. Hopefully that keeps going. Looks like Pay's made a full reversal on us. Winnebago IIPR forming some kind of a structure up here. And not looking too bad down here towards the lows. Yeah, Uber probably still has no profit. They're still burning cash faster than they can use it, I think. Now that they're public, they have an even larger war chest, unfortunately. iRobot. Selling off. Tesla. Tesla holding strong. I actually don't mind this here. It sold off the other day. Volume diminishing. Price holding up strongly though. So this is a bullish setup for sure. It's looking really good unless, something can happen with Tesla, but maybe something comes out of China and tanks the stock. But doesn't really look like that's the case right now. All right, hold on, guys. All right, guys, I'm back. 5 down to support. Let's look. Yeah, 5 does appear to be down at a level that it's found some support in the past. Got a couple spikes down, a little below the 200-day moving average. This thing failed at a high. I mean, the bounce. When I usually do these bounce plays, I try to look for the obvious move, and this obvious move would be back up here towards the 132 level. Looks like that's the 50-day moving average. That's been holding it down, so you're maybe looking for a bounce into that 50-day. Would be the general play right there. But again, we got China coming up, so you just kind of have to pick your poison on what's going to how involved you want to get. My robot's still not looking too bad down these levels. See, this is a much longer term support. Higher highs, higher lows. Well, the big play here is for a potential higher high. Not sure, it's hard to say we're gonna rally that far. That'd be a pretty huge rally on iRobot, and it could take a while, depending on how you want to play it. But there's definitely a large channel, and you're down in the bottom of it with a pretty tight price action area. So that's pretty bullish. I don't know about bullish. Bullish probably was the wrong word. It's pretty good. Getting out of the market before the G20. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You have to know how much exposure you want to the market before this. Oh, when is the G20? I know is that what's in China or Japan this weekend? I know there's an economic summit. I'm not sure if that's actually the G20 though. Oh, okay. That is the Japan thing. G20 Osaka summit. Osaka. Oh, here you go. Topics on the G20. Is VIA the new Bitcoin? Wow, that's interesting that they're going to talk about that in the G20 summit. All right, let me go back to looking at iRobot over here. Yeah, see, I think it gets back up to 130. There's some really good gains out of that. Even going out to November. See, now I do want some more time on my chart. So last time we were down here, it took 112 days. So November would be pretty advantageous. Unfortunately, got some earnings to hold through there, so this is going to kind of be hard to get a larger exposure. Well, I don't know about that, Eli. They're talking about the G20, so it's got to be important. I already closed the website down, otherwise I'd show it to you. So you know how that goes. Sorry. So that iRobot trade looking pretty good. I'm just saying the tab's closed. What do you want me to do, Eli? It's just closed. I got nothing left. All right, IQ going to the top of our leaderboard today. Yeah, I noticed IQ pop like late yesterday. I noticed IQ popping way up here. I'm like, oh, where the hell was I down here when we had decent volume, but it really didn't start expanding until way up here. But IQ getting kind of back with the program again right there. Maybe wait for consolidation on that guy. WHD also breaking a trend line. We talked about that one. Ooh, this looks interesting. You got Anik with a super tight. I forget what these guys do. Well, that's kind of an interesting situation right there. Let me pull this back to reality. Famous last words. You want to jump on it, Eli? Which one was that? I already forgot which one it was. This Annex chart interesting. Let's see if it's worth anything. '93 composite rating, develops hyaluronic acid-based products that promote the healing of bone, cartilage, and soft tissue. Looks like it's a medical biomed biotech group. IQ. 167% EPS change last quarter for this guy right here. 74% average EPS growth rate. Hope these numbers keep looking good. Sales change only 16%. Pre-tax margin 22%, which is not great. Neither of those numbers are great. Pre-tax margin is okay. Market cap 560 million. It's a very low float coin, 177,000 shares traded. 5% change in funds owning stock and 1/4 of increasing fund ownership. 91% relative strength rating. So it's top line numbers, composite and relative strength. They're both good. 93 and 91. You can't really argue with those. So I'm actually not bad at Anik. I think I'm going to add this to our list here. Oh, MDB down again. And so far, no support right there. Good thing I didn't jump into anything on that one. I was thinking about it, but we didn't get the break up yet. Twilio pulling in this morning down here. Well, that's what MongoDB does. They host theirs as a service. It's their Atlas platform. They have a couple more products too. They've got their Atlas. I'll pull it up real quick, just to make Eli cringe a little bit here. They got their Atlas, their fully managed cloud database, serverless platform. I don't know much about that. MongoDB charts, native visualization for MongoDB data. They do some training services. They do consulting. So they got a pretty robust business. I mean, people are obviously, you may think it sucks, but people are using it. So cloud migration. So yeah, I mean, if MongoDB is doing good, this product will do good as well. This whole MongoDB as a product, as a stock in a company. Yeah, everything is pretty flat today. Oh, Funko down 2.6%. Another pocket pivot yesterday for Funko. So that's pretty good. Uber and Pay is still leading the pack. Rob mentioning about INS. Yeah, pretty nice and sideways. Yeah, I would definitely, if you're looking at this, I'd wait for it to break up. You are underneath your 50-day moving average. It's kind of hard for stocks to break the 50 average on massive volume. This right here is a very clear sell signal. A break of the 50-day on massive volume. That's an extraordinarily clear sell signal. So I wouldn't be getting too bullish. Definitely keep an eye on it, but I wouldn't be running into this stock by any stretch of the imagination. It's got to get back above the 50-day. A lot of institutions actually use the 50-day moving average as kind of a support line. You can actually see it on the INS chart here on the weekly. So while here it undercuts, it doesn't do a whole lot before it pops above the 50-day, and then stair steps back up. Actually, that's akin to the 200-day. Excuse me. The 50-day would be here. This would be the 200-day moving average. And actually, we're still no. Actually, this doesn't look right. This does look like the 50-day moving average. This looks like a shorter moving average. What do I got up here? No, 10 and 40. Oh, but this is a daily chart. This isn't the weekly chart. So let me go to the weekly chart and you'll see what I'm talking about. There you go. There's your 50-day moving average. No, I lied to you. There's your 50-day moving average. Support on the way up. This would be akin to your 200-day moving average. So it's still above the 200-day, which I guess is pretty good for much longer term trend. So maybe it's not as bad. But you see here on the 50-day, we held the 50-day. It broke, had a longer consolidation, gapped up above it, and then fudged around underneath it, but came right back. These pretty much chopped up the 50-day, and then we finally broke it definitively right there on that day. So maybe when this breaks back through, you can probably get back involved, like this situation. But if you notice, it went sideways for about 2 or 3 months before it finally got some momentum again out of that base. Yeah. ABBV, we noticed this one was testing the trend line here. It looks like it gapped down on earnings. Oh, no, that was these guys are getting bought out, or they bought another company, excuse me. I think coming back pretty strong. As a matter of fact, that should do pretty good. Man, Fox Factory's still going up. Still no volume either, but it's moving. No volume behind it, but it's going up. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to get behind that stock, but yeah, well, you can take a little bit of solace, Rob, in the fact that you got out due to kind of a fat finger trade. You were going to put a stop in that would not have gotten hit, if we remember correctly, and it's back at the top of the list today. But at the same time, it's a pretty nothing day. So I wouldn't read a bunch into that. But at least you know it wasn't due to your misreading of charts or something. It was just a fat finger situation. Looks like Uber dropped down a little bit. Maybe it's consolidating up here, but it's definitely wider than yesterday's consolidation. All right, top down. I'm going to get out of here pretty soon, guys. I'm trying to work on my code there as much as I can, so I'm going to, with a pretty flat day here, not much going on, I'll take that opportunity to get a few more minutes of coding in here. Bitcoin, I don't really remember what it was this morning. Yeah, it could be dead cat bounce. Could be dead cat bounce. I mean, it's lower volume coming up here, but time will tell. Yeah, it could easily float up a little bit more. It's just kind of hanging out up here. I think it could go up a little bit more, and we'll see what happens from there. But looks like it's leading the market up today, 5%, other than BSV, which is up 14% for some reason. Yeah, we'll see. I haven't gone through all the cryptos yet. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Market's kind of going sideways. Keep in mind, we do have that G20 this weekend. I don't know if anything's going to come out of it. Best case scenario, at least for me, I kind of hope we go sideways and don't do crazy stuff over the weekend. That always feels bad, but it is what it's going to be. So make sure you have the exposure that you're comfortable with, guys. And yeah, other than that, try to get some cash if you have some positions that are floundering about, not doing a whole lot for you. Try to get out of them, maybe. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.